So we have a really large problem set. Let's try to just get through all these different problems. Um, I would say this one has around 30. 30 problems. Some of these are, I would say this one has around 40 problems. So around 300 problems. It's a really large problem set. But we should be able to skip a lot of these in case of things that are like really easy to understand conceptually. So like the first question is, what's the best definition of time value of money? The time value of money is the relationship between time and money. Okay. If you invest 50,000 to earn 8% interest, which compounding approach returned the lowest amount after 1 year? If it compounds daily, then there will be a larger principal because there's 365 compounding periods. But if there's just one compounding period, which is annually, then there will be less principal, compounded principal. So answer is A. What is interest? Interest is the payment for the use of money. Okay. So for an investment that earns 1% compounded monthly for 2 years, how many compounding periods are there? So every year it compounds, and then so like in 1 year there will be 12 compounding periods. So for 2 years there will be 24 compounding periods. See like how easy some of these questions are? Bella requires $240,000 in 4 years to purchase a new home. She can invest cash today that would earn 8% compound quarterly. What determines how much money deposited today? Which factors should Bella use from the present value table? So there's four. It's a 4-year. She's trying to save up. She's trying to save up to 44 in 4 years. So she's trying to invest cash that would earn 8% compounded quarterly. So then there's 4 years and 4 quarters per year, so 60 periods. And 8% interest would be divided within that year among the compounding periods. So there's 4 periods, so it would be D, 16 periods, 2%. John Jones won a lottery that would pay him $4 million after 20 years, assuming an appropriate interest rate is 5% compounded annually. What is the present value of this amount? So the present value is going to be less than the amount that's going to be paid in 20 years. So present value, 20 periods at 5%. So this one's interesting and that's something to know. Annuity. So annuity, the difference between annuity due and an ordinary annuity is just the time of when the payment is made. So like the ordinary annuity, so the ordinary annuity, January 1st, January 3rd, 30th, February 1st, February 30th. So an ordinary annuity would be paid on the last day of the month, while a annuity due would be paid on the first of the month. You guys see? So what that means is that because like the interest compounds at the start of the month, because of that, the ordinary annuity wouldn't compound as much as the annuity due, because it would compound one more time. Um, so it's just when the payment's supposed to be made. If that makes any sense. So what that means is that the present value of the ordinary annuity will be less than the present value of the annuity due. The present value of the annuity due will be greater than the present value of the ordinary annuity. Is that correct? Okay. Paula purchased a house for $300,000 after providing a 20% down payment. She borrowed the balance from the local savings and loan under 30-year 6% mortgage loan requiring uh, equal monthly installments at the end of each month. What time value concept would be used to determine the monthly payment? That's a very good question. Um, so, like, the thing about this is that the present value of the annuity, or the present value of the house, is 300,000. And then the future value, as in like money, pretty much. Well, she put down 20%, 300,000 times 20%, 60,000. She put down 60,000. So 300,000 minus 60,000, 240,000. So the rest of that, she borrowed it for a 30-year 6% mortgage loan, requiring equal monthly installments at the end of each month. I'm going to calculate this, but the question that they're asking is which time value concept would be used to determine the monthly payment. I'm pretty sure the monthly payment or the mortgage would be based off of the present value. Um, but I could be wrong. Okay, it's present value of an ordinary annuity. At the end of each month, so that would be ordinary annuity. Okay. Al Darby wants to withdraw 20,000 including principal from an investment fund at the end of each year for 5 years. How should he compute his required initial investment at the beginning of the first year if the fund earns 10% compound annually? So I believe it's gonna be 20,000 times present value. Let's see. 20 times 20,000 times the present value of 5-year 10% ordinary. Oh, I see. Of $1, pretty much. So if in 5 years a 10% ordinary annuity of $1, um, whatever that is, present value could be like 10 cents or like a few cents or less than a cent. Times that by 20,000 and we would get the initial investment required. For which accounting topic are present value accounting measures relevant? I want to say inventory. Barber Company will receive $1,500,000 in 7 years if the appropriate interest rate is 10%, compounded annually. Which table factor should be used to calculate the present value of the $1.5 billion? So they're looking for the present value, not the ordinary annuity. So the present value of one. And there's going to be 7 compounding periods, 7 periods at 10%. If a savings account pays interest at 4% compounded quarterly, then the amount of $1 left on the deposit for 7 years will be found using each of the following critical factors. If a savings account pays interest at 4% compound quarterly, four quarters, 7 years, 48 periods, 4% per quarter. So answer would be A, 28 periods, 7%. On June 1st, 2020, Pitts Company sold some equipment to Gann Company. The two companies entered into installment sales contract at 8%. Contract required equal payments each quarter for years, with the first one due on June 1st, 2020. Which compound interest table is appropriate for this situation? So installment sales contract at 8%. Equal payments each quarter for 4 years, so then that would be 16 quarters, 16 periods. 8%, so like 2%, so it'd be 16 to 2%, 16 periods, 2%, and it would be, so like the first payment is due on June 1st, so then that would be an annuity due rather than an ordinary annuity, so the answer is A. Which transaction will require the use of present value of annuity due concept in order to calculate the present value of an asset obtained or liable owned at the date of incurrence? So annuity due is going to be the first of the month. Uh, present value of that annuity due in order to calculate the present value of the asset owed at the date of cross. I'm not really sure about this one. I'm gonna have to like look into it more. But so I am going to see highlight this. Um, just go with orange. Equipment is exchanged for a non-interest bearing note. Payment of 20,000 on the note is to be made in 1 year. The market rate of notes of similar risk is 5%. Assuming an annual interest rate of 5% is appropriate, present value principal. Assuming semi-annual interest to provide 5%, the present value is. What is the amount of the NLR net of discount that should be recorded in the books of the date of exchange? No interest, 5%. Market rate, so there would be a discount. 5% principal. Like the thing is like it's that I don't understand is that is it the is it annual interest or is it semi-annual? Um, guess it's gonna be annual. I'm not exactly sure why. Um, the company collects 1,500 of rent from a tenant at the end of the year. The company invests the money in investment earning 4% interest per year. Assuming a 4% annual interest rate is appropriate, the implied annual interest 6 present value of the rent is 1,442. What is the discounted value of the rent at the beginning of the year? I want to say it's the present value I would suppose. Um, but I could be wrong. Huh? Really? Companies leasing a machine for 10 years, the annual payments of 5,000 are made at the beginning of the year. Assuming an annual interest rate of 5%, present value for one is 2,070. Present value of the ordinary annuity is $38,609. Present value of the annuity dues. What value should this company use to record the machine? Well, it's made at the beginning of the year, so that'll be January 1st. So the most likely it's going to be a annuity due. I suppose the answer could be A. Yeah. Yeah. It's odd. So an investment of $1 for 12 years at 12% annual interest is compounded monthly. What is the interest rate for compounding period? 12 years annual interest of 12%. I believe it's 12%, isn't it? That was 1%. The landlord receives 1,000 in rent payments at the beginning of every month for 10 periods. Assuming an annual interest rate of 5% is appropriate, the present value of 1 is present value of the ordinary annuity. Present value of an annuity due was fair value of the 10 rent payments at the beginning of every month. So that must mean that it's an annuity due. It's an ordinary dues at the end of the month. So it's gonna be the annuity due. So I suppose it's C. Ah, it's actually ordinary annuity. I could be wrong here. I could be wrong. Um, so an individual recently won a lottery and has the opportunity to receive 100,000 per year at the end of the year. Assuming an annual interest rate of 5% is appropriate, there's a value of 1. So it's supposed to be at the end of the year, so that would mean that it's ordinary. I suppose it's supposed to be ordinary. I might have mixed these up, but if it's at the end of the year, usually that means it's ordinary annuity. So the ordinary annuity present value is 1,409,294. The company requires 8,000 cash in a savings account, earning 2% interest at the end of the year. Assuming annual interest rate of 2% is appropriate, what amount must be deposited? I believe it's B. The company expects to incur $1 million in environmental remediation costs in 10 years to restore land at one of the production sites currently operating. Using a 8% interest rate, the implied annual interest is $1 million. At 8%, so 80,000. Present value of the remediation cost is 1 million times. So what amount must the company record currently as an asset requirement or obligation? So it's going to be probably the present value of the remediation cost. Because the future value of that remediation cost is going to be $1 million. But the present value is $463,000. So answer is A. Company A has agreed to pay Company B $100,000 at the beginning of each year for the next 3 years for rights to a patent. Assuming an annual interest rate of 4% is appropriate, the present value of the ordinary annuity is 2.77509 times 100,000, which is $277,509. The present value of the annuity deal is 2.88609 times 100,000 equals $288,609. So what's the present obligation that company A should record in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles? So the present value of the ordinary annuity, $277,509. Beginning of the year, so that would mean that's ordinary annuity. Answer is A, $277,509. So a company sold item to a customer under a 5-year zero interest bearing note receivable agreement for $25,000. The list selling price is $30,000 and the selling price is $27,500. The discounted selling price of the item is $25,000. The market rate of interest at the time of the note is issued at 4%. Assuming an annual interest rate of 4% for 5 years appropriate time of sale, present value of the principal is $20,548, which amount should be recorded at the date of sale. So it's a 5-year zero interest bearing note receivable for $25,000. So that means that the future value of this note is $25,000, but the present value of the note is $20,000. So what would be recorded is actually the present value of that note, or the present value of the principal. Answer C. Oh, really?